Today's the day I'm going to rank 30 different business ideas. Now, just a warning, this list is probably going to make you lose a couple of brain cells here. Now, I was on Instagram, the best app in the entire world, and I found this post, and it's called 30 Passive Income Ideas. Now, real quick, I do want to point out Benjamin Franklin there in the background wearing a mask, obviously because of COVID. But does he always look this sad? The giant puppy dog eyes. I think it's because he knows his legacy is now attached to probably the worst post I've ever seen on social media. Regardless, this says 30 passive income ideas. Now, I know the title of the video is just business idea tier list or something along those lines, but this post specifically mentions passive. So while I'm going through this, and I'm gonna be just ranking every business idea based on the, based on them existing, I'm also gonna be considering them as passive business ideas, because I feel like that's just a keyword that these crappy accounts throw out to try and rope people in. But hey, let's jump into it. I got my tier list right here. I've got all my business ideas all there scrambled up. Let's just go ahead and go through them. Let's rank them. Basically on my tiers, I've got S, A, B, C, D, F tier. S is the best, F is the absolute worst. I have a feeling that there's gonna be a disproportionate amount in F, but we'll see. All right, first one here, we have buy a website. Now, it's probably gonna be really hard to rank a lot of these because that is one of the most broad things I've ever seen in my life. All right, buy a website, what do you mean? Like a blog, an e-commerce website, is an existing brand, or just like some type of garbage dropshipping website? I mean, I've made plenty of videos talking about how most websites that you can buy online are a total waste of money, and you're literally better off throwing $30,000 into a random shitcoin that you find on a deep web forum, but that's beside the point. Let's assume buying a website means that you're on a very reputable broker. You can find a, let's say, blog that has very consistent income. It doesn't have any black hat or sketchy tactics, and let's say you can get it for a reasonable price. Now at that point, I would say buying a website is actually a pretty good passive income method. Now typically when you buy a blog, they're priced at about like 30 to 40 times the monthly income. So you would need to be passive for about 3 years before you start net cash flowing, positive cash flow. And that's if you don't touch it. Now, if you're adding stuff onto it, you could cash flow a lot sooner. But in that case, I'm actually gonna put buy a website up here in A tier. Good way to start it off here. Next up, we've got create an app. Already. So creating an app is like the ultimate Silicon Valley bro. Like, hey, I have this great idea for an app. It's like Uber, but it's for your cat's shit. Uber, but for waffle irons for stoned college kids. It's like Uber, but for Airbnbs. I don't know, it's so generic, and most apps try and be so like mind-blowing and earth-shattering and unique, and they never really take off, whether it's a game or like a productive app or like a business kind of like SaaS solution. Most of the time it's not that hot, and it's not passive until you really get things going. In that case, I'm gonna put that in a D tier. Next up, we got vending machines, and I really don't know what the huge obsession with these is. I think it's because just on the surface, it looks like you can dump $1,000 into it, and then it just cash flows consistently with almost nothing that you have to do. And that's not really the situation at all. Now, disclaimer, I do not own any vending machines, call me a poser. But I have done a good amount of research, and it is actually pretty difficult to find them, maintain them, stock them, find the right places to actually store them. You have to pay the electricity, and then you have to pay for the actual rent to keep it in that location. It's a lot. It's not very passive at all. You got to maintain everything, unless you're paying somebody to maintain them, in which case you're massively cutting into your profit margins. I don't really like it. Now, it is definitely doable, and you can make money doing it, and it doesn't seem too difficult. So in this case, I'm gonna put it in C tier. Now, crowdfunded real estate is definitely something that these giant gurus try to use to sound very smart and look very rich and roping people into their scams. Now, crowdfunded real estate can be very good if you find a good fund with, vetted profits and vetted strategies, and you yourself know what you're doing. But I would not not call this passive income by any stretch of the means. This is basically going to be a full-time job. If not full-time, you're going to put a lot of effort into finding the right people to invest with. Overall, I don't think this is very hot. Real estate should be more of kind of like an end goal, not necessarily the way to build your initial wealth, in my opinion. But crowdfunded real estate is a good way to break into it. So in that case, I'm gonna also put that in C tier. All right, next up, we have rent out a room. And surprisingly, I like this one. If they're talking about you own a house and you just wanna rent out a room in your house, then that's basically just called house hacking, or having a roommate, where it makes your mortgage more affordable and it kind of subsidizes it. I think this is great if you don't have a girlfriend or a significant other that you're living with and you have an extra room that you're not using. Yeah, I guess that's pretty easy money, as long as you don't hire or you don't get a murderer living in your room. And surprisingly, this is pretty passive as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a B tier. Not bad. All right, this one, invest in royalty income. I don't really know what that means. I don't know if that's like a program or if they're talking about like people paying you royalties. I don't know. I've never heard it called royalty income. If they're talking about, being paid royalties, then in that case, you create things that people license, kind of like music or video items. I don't know. And then it says invest. I don't really know what that means. This looks like just some kind of BS filler. I guarantee it's a program that they're trying to, affiliate promote. That's going F tier right off the bat. All right, next up we got sell on eBay. And this is not passive by any means. You have to source the products, you gotta list them, you gotta ship them, unless you have employees doing this, in which case you just have an e-commerce store. You're not selling on eBay. eBay is a good way to make some extra money. Not really passive at all. Not super duper scalable unless you go like feet first into it. I don't know why. This is definitely one where they're just trying to fill things out. I'm going to put this in, it's kind of tough, because I have made a good amount of money just selling stuff on eBay. I'm gonna go C tier again. All right, next up, car wash. And in this case, I'm assuming that they mean you own a car wash, like one of those ones with a couple of bays that people go, they put their coins in and they can use the sprayers and clean their car. In which case, that is going to be unavailable for most people. Not only is that commercial real estate, but it's a good chunk of money to get into commercial real estate, and it requires a good amount of upkeep as well. In that case, I'm gonna put this in D tier. I guess you can make a good amount of money by doing it, but it's not really that practical. Peer-to-peer lending, I really don't know too much about this. Basically, what it seems like is you're just giving loans out to people kind of on like smaller scales. I don't really know why you would do this. It seems very, very risky. Now, I do see that there are a couple apps that allow you to do this, but you would be better off, it seems, just investing your money in the stock market. I'm gonna put D tier on this one. Now, a YouTube channel is the epitome of not passive income. It's why I've allowed my channel to absolutely just tank. It takes so much effort. If you're not in a good monetizable niche, you're not gonna make a lot of money unless you're getting a ton of views. It's actually not a great way to make money. However, it is pretty fun, and if you like being on camera, it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give this C tier. Next up, we got mining crypto. Yeah, I don't know about this one. If for some, if God comes through your bedroom window and he says, my child, here is a graphics card, then yes, this is a great thing to do. Or if you have a graphics card just sitting around. But now, with how popular mining crypto is, you can't get a graphics card, so you can't mine crypto. And it's becoming less and less efficient, and it's getting more and more expensive. I guess it's still pretty good. If you can build a couple of mining rigs, you can make some money doing this, but it's really not that great from what I've seen. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a D tier. You could probably focus on a lot better things. Next up, we got rent out your car. Now, I'm assuming this is gonna be using a service like Turo, where you can essentially list your car and people just rent it and return it, and you keep doing that. I don't really like it that much. It's first of all not passive. You gotta clean the car, you gotta maintain it. I would not call this passive income by any means, but it's also a little bit sketchy. Now, I don't know many people that are actually doing this with like their main car. Typically, what I'll see is people purchasing kind of crap econo boxes and renting them out, or renting their very high-end ones out for a ton of money, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a day. Overall, does not seem that accessible for the average person, does not seem like a great way to make a lot of money. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in D tier. Next up, we got ATMs. This basically ties right into vending machines, except you need even more capital to stock it with cash in the first place. Once again, it's just this passive, like, oh, money's just gonna come to you, just keep dumping money into it. It's not it at all. Requires a good amount of maintenance, a lot of initial capital to start it up. But I guess once you get it going, it'll get going, make you money. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in C tier. All right, Robo-Advisor. This is essentially just an app that will invest your money for you. I guess I'm not even gonna spend this much time on it. It's essentially just passive investing, which is a great way to grow your money. It's essentially the only way you can make passive income, at least early on in your stages of, you know, being an entrepreneur or taking control of your wealth. I'm gonna pop this in A tier. Next up, we have affiliate marketing. You can make a lot of money doing this. You can also not make any money doing it. Affiliate marketing has been absolutely destroyed by online marketers trying to get you to spend money to learn how to affiliate market, because it just seems super, it seems like a good way to make money. And it is, if you can do it properly, but it's very hard to do it properly. It's extremely oversaturated. If you can do it right though, it can actually be pretty passive. In this case, I'm gonna give it B tier because I actually like affiliate marketing. It's just really hard to do it properly. Next up, we have rent out items you have. I know there's services where you can rent out things that you own. There's something for baby items is actually a pretty big one. And then there's like tools. You can rent out a bunch of different things. I guess this is pretty low effort. You can make a little bit of money. It's not that bad. I'm gonna give this C tier. It's a very neutral idea. Next up, we got sell on Amazon. This is basically right there with sell on eBay. It's basically the same exact thing. I don't know why. I know why they didn't combine them, because they needed to pad out their stupid list. I'm giving the C tier. Okay, next up, hire virtual assistant. Okay, I don't know what virtual assistants you're finding that you hire them and then they just make you money, but can you show me where you're finding yours, please? I've looked on Fiverr, I've looked. I said free money printing virtual assistants. I can't find any. In all seriousness, I don't know why this is on here. Hire a virtual assistant that's not passive, that's not income. I guess it's passive if you let them do it, but what are they doing for you? That's just a way to scale your business or delegate things out. That's F tier. I'm very upset that this was in here. Next up, we have online course. The beautiful online course that everyone loves. God, just the word course shakes me to my core. I guess this is pretty good. If you have a marketable skill that people want to learn, you can sell a course, make a good amount of money doing it. Be ethical about it, please. But it is pretty good. I would kind of put this around having a YouTube channel, where you do have to put a lot of effort into content marketing to make a lot of money, but it is pretty good. It is pretty passive. You can make a good amount of money with info products. You can really put whatever price you want on them. I'll give this B tier. Next up, we have drop shipping. I don't have to explain this. This is absolutely garbage. If you know my channel, you've seen the trajectory of my stance on this over the years. Pretty terrible. You can still make money on it, so I'm not going to put this in the bottom, but I am going to put this in D tier. Thank God. Okay. Long on stocks, aka just holding stocks and then letting interest take over and make you money. That's going S tier right away. I don't need to explain it. Just holding stocks for any amount of time is great. Just go long on stocks. S&P 500, any ETFs, any mutual funds, any of that stuff, dump your money in. You will not regret it when you retire. Next up, we got a laundromat. I guess this would kind of go up there with like car wash and stuff like that. Requires a healthy chunk of initial capital. Once again, it's commercial real estate. You have to buy all the machines. You have to upkeep them, which is not passive by any means. I guess you can make a decent amount of money, but this is more of like a mid to end game business path that you would take. I'm going to put this in, let's put it in C tier, because you can make some money doing it. All right, next up we have ads on your car. This is where I can tell they were running out of ideas here. Basically, there's services where you can have your car wrapped in advertisements and they pay you money to do it. There's this one Carvertise that I looked up. You make about, it's like $100 a month doing it. Now you can make more than that. They like guarantee $100 a month, but that's pretty bad. I mean, if you have a car that you hate and you drive a good amount, then I guess it's fine, but $100 a month, like, that's not that much money. I don't think that's worth it. It's not that good. I'm putting that D tier. Next up, we have subscriber service, which I'm assuming means that you have a service that people subscribe to monthly and they pay you recurring, like OnlyFans. If you're hot, OnlyFans, honestly, S tier, go for it. Good for you. You'll make a ton of money if you can do that properly. Now, I'm assuming this is more talking about like info products and kind of like education, in which case it is extremely hard to get people to sign up for that and pay for your information on a recurring basis. I do not think this is good for the average person. Most people will fail in trying to do this. I'm gonna put this D tier. Next up, we got dividend stocks. This is essentially, I would pair this with long on stocks. You wanna hold some dividend stocks just to pay out over time. I'm gonna put it S tier. Don't really need a lot of explaining. You just hold it, they pay you money, and they appreciate over time. Just be smart with picking them. Next up, we got silent business partner. Do they mean like hire Helen Keller, and when you're in a business meeting and you're trying to like negotiate, suddenly she'll just like flail her arms and slam the desk, and it's so intimidating that you get the business deal? I don't know. I think this is kind of like a private, like an investor type thing, like a venture capital type thing. I don't really know what this entails. It sounds like a very just kind of like BS idea that doesn't have a lot of substance to it. I'm gonna put it F tier. Next up, we got high yield savings account. This is essentially a savings account that will pay you just percent interest on holding it. Average savings accounts, God, they'll give you like 0.01% interest on your savings. There are some high yield ones. Ally Bank right now is giving like 0.2%. Used to be like 2%. Now it's like 0.2 because interest rates are so low. If you're gonna hold just fiat money, then this is fine to do, but it's a waste of money still when you could put it in the stock market and it'll grow. I don't know, but it's not bad. I mean, I'll put it B tier because it has its place. All right, print on demand shirts. I'm gonna put this, kind of group it with drop shipping. Most of the time, the shirts that you make, people don't want them. People don't want to wear your shirts, okay? You need to have, I've got one of my most popular videos is on how to create a clothing brand. That's what you want. That's what you want to do. And even then, it's extremely hard to do it properly. I'm gonna say if you're looking to make a lot of money, print on demand shirts is not the way to do it. That's gonna go D tier. Next up, we got ebook, and I can really take two paths here. We can either do the path of just like education type ebooks, like, oh, $19, learn the secrets to whatever, everlasting love in life. Or two, we could do ebooks of anything like fiction, romance novels, adventure, some stuff like that. I don't want to go into it too much, but I have seen that people write kind of like erotic ebooks and they sell a ton of them because they're very niche specific for specific people and they're willing to pay a lot of money and they make a ton of money. So you can make a good amount of money doing this. Marketing it is a whole other thing. I would not say it's passive because you have to write an entire book and then you have to market it. But I would go B tier if you can do this properly. And last off, we got such a depressing one to end off on. Buy an app. I mean, you kind of look at it the same as buying a website, right? You want one with a proven track record of making money. You want an upward or a stable trajectory in the money. You don't want it going down. And you want something with good, just a good lifetime potential. You don't want something that's a trend that's gonna die out. On this, I'm gonna put this C tier. It can work, but it's not that great. Actually, a surprisingly small amount of F tiers. I was being pretty generous. A lot of C and D tiers, which means that you can make money doing those things, but the vast majority of people that try and make money doing those things will fail horribly and waste a lot of time, money, and effort. Now we've got our B tiers, our renting out a room, affiliate marketing, selling an online course, high yield savings account, and ebook. Those are all pretty good. I am big fans of all of those. Really, you could kind of combine all of these and make a good chunk of money. Now up here, buying a website. If you're gonna do anything online, I think buying a website is awesome. You just have to vet it properly, and invest with a robo-investor is basically just investing. As long as you're not paying like too many fees or you're not using something stupid like Acorns, then that's good to go. But then the top tier, just buy and hold stocks. That's the best way to make passive income. My God. And then when it just starts to compound on itself, oh yeah, That's awesome. All right, so now you know what not to waste your time on. Don't thank me. Don't thank me. I'll just put my Cash App, Venmo, OnlyFans. No, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, the like button down below. Leave a comment. Follow me on Instagram. Do all that fun stuff. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Be smart with your decisions. Otherwise, you might show up on a tier list. That's why they call it a tier list. Because these make me so sad, I want to cry.